Welcome to today's Fireside Chat with Jesse. I am joined today by Katie Crawford, Regional Sales Manager at Arvest Equipment Finance. Thanks for joining me, Katie.
Nice to see you, Jesse. Thanks for having me.
No, it's great to have you on here. Like I was before we started recording, it was great seeing you at the ELFA annual. I had the pleasure of doing one. I want to say it was almost a year ago to the date with Eric.
Yes.
So when I reached out, I'm glad that you agreed to join us so we could talk about Arvest in 2022.
I'm really excited to be here. Eric is our division president, so to get to follow him up was big shoes to fill, but hopefully will it all go off without a hitch, right?
You will do just fine. So Katie, for those people who might not be familiar with yourself, do you mind just kind of talking about your career to date in equipment finance?
Sure. So some might consider me more of a newbie. I am more of a long-standing bank. I have a lot more bank experience. I started working for a bank when I was in college. We're not going to say how many years ago that was, but it was a while back.
High five.
So as you mentioned, I'm currently, as of January, really excited to serve as the sales manager for the Arvest Bank Equipment Finance division. And I focus on our bank division. We do have a vendor division. I focus on bank, and we are a bank-owned finance company. We're based in Fort Smith, Arkansas. We just opened a new facility at historic Fort Chaffee Crossing. If you're ever in that area, come see our building. It's historic and it's really amazing. We got to celebrate that last year. We are, I think we're approximately 700 million in assets right now. We currently employ 50 associates. So we are a small knit family, if you will, but 3 years ago when I started with Arvest Equipment Finance, at 14. So we have really grown up together just in the last 3 years. We've experienced a lot of growth, a lot of changes. Our focus is automation and efficiencies that support growth. So ease of use is something that we use in our everyday talk. And we have several channels of bank referrals and then vendor and now inside sales. So that's a little bit about me and what I do in Arvest Bank and Arvest Equipment Finance.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you for that. So as far as going from like the operations side to a sales side, or I guess just working at the bank and then going to sales, is there something about sales that intrigued you?
I'm very social, but I would say that I've always thrived more in a eat what you kill, for lack of a better term, driven work scenario. It motivates me if I know what my goals are and I'm solely responsible for that. So I've always enjoyed sales. I can see where sales scares a lot of people. Operations is actually a little newer to me because I'm always very comfortable with being responsible for Katie, but being responsible for a team of people. No, I mean, I have a family, so at home, I'm capable of that, but being responsible for my peers and now people who report to me, it's a newer role, so I'm still getting acclimated with that. So all I can do is I just tell my team, I'm going to mess it up. I'm probably not going to get it right the first time. So you guys just bear with me, but learning as I go, but really excited because I have an amazing team of equipment finance specialists that I get to work with.
No, that's an interesting point. So I've pretty much been on the business development side since I graduated from college. And, I get that. You sit there and you look at a board. Like my first sales job was really interesting because it's traditional sales psychology, right? Put your name on a board, put a quota next to it. You want to be in the green every month. You don't want to be in the red.
Right.
Because, we want to win. We don't want to be, don't want to be in the middle. We don't want to be in the bottom. People like you and I want to be in the top. And it's a specific formula for how you do that, right? Come to work early, stay a little bit late, make the extra phone calls, go to the extra shows, see an extra dealer, vendor, whatever you need to do. Not a lot of people are cut out for that. So to your point, I can see where it scares people because they don't want to put in the effort. But based on what you just said and what I know about you, I don't think that's going to be a problem.
It's an internally driven thing, and I think that's why our group is. When I say our group, I think the culture of the equipment finance division. There are so many people who are like-minded in that way, and that's why when we get together at ELFA, it's just so easy. It's just a natural connection with so many people who are all pretty fast-paced and, like I said, very driven, very focused on what's next, and we're there to learn and have a good time because we're salespeople, so we like to mix and mingle and get to know other people, make connections. So yeah, good point. I agree.
And then, the biggest challenge that we have as sales professionals is never accepting the status quo. And it's like, I had a record year last year. How do I even make it better? But I think more importantly for the people that watch this, you're never going to always have a record year. There's always going to be something, and just keep churning.
It's a great life lesson. I've learned it a few times.
It's
not every year is a banner year.
Yeah, it's humbling because you could easily beat yourself up, and all you do is get back on the bike and go again. Sorry to get off on a sales.
No, you're good.
There, but so was that annual conference in San Antonio? Was that your first conference?
No, I actually was very privileged to be able to attend in Washington, D.C.
Okay.
Not the previous year, but I believe the previous year.
That was the only one that you were able to go to because there wasn't one.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. And I didn't know what to expect, and I loved it so much more than I thought I would. But that is where I thrive, and I really enjoy that. Not everybody enjoys that whole scene of just walking into a room of people you don't know and getting to know them, making meaningful connections. But I do remember at one point looking at my badge and thinking, I think I'm the only I felt like everyone there at that time was either a CEO, the president of the division. And I remember turning to Eric Bonnell, who was our president at the time, and just saying, hey, I really appreciate you letting me come to this because I feel very much outranked here, but I made every connection that I could that year because it was a great opportunity. And so I remember asking him, hey, going forward, I know everybody probably wants to turn, but I'd really love to make that a thing going forward. And of course, Eric's like, absolutely. You can go every year. So I'm really looking forward to the women's conference in Chicago. I was super disappointed that it was canceled last year, but that's just kind of where we were at that time. So hoping I'll see you there, Jesse, and just the same group and meet some new folks. So yeah.
Yep. Nope. I will be there. I mean, but as we're talking about the whole sales side, if you're an operations leader, unless you're a COO, you're not going to that ELFA annual because it's more on the C-suite. However, if you're in sales, then you have a play to actually attend. So.
Well, I was definitely not C-suite and still not there, but I was very happy to be there. So.
Give us some time. Anything. Well, the next thing I wanted to kind of go into is this. See your lovely.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, check you out.
I'll sign that for you at the women's conference.
Perfect. I will bring it, and I will take you up on that.
Get all the signatures.
But I wanted to really quickly just touch base on this, Katie, and just, what did this mean to you when you found out that you, A, were nominated and B, selected?
This is amazing. Very unexpected. I think that, John Bradford is my direct, our regional. He manages both bank and vendor, and he's just kind of been my cornerstone, brought me over to equipment finance, and then obviously Eric Bonnell. I want to say they were as excited as I was because, it's just kind of like they gave me all the tools, all the resources. And then for this to come out, I was really surprised and they were not. And so they were very excited for me. And I really wanted to make them proud and represent Arvest Equipment Finance well. But it was really neat because I was actually able to help do some editorials for Monitor. I mean, obviously, Monitor is a cornerstone of valuable information for this industry. So I look at Monitor every day. I have all of the updates, and we get the magazine. And the women's edition is something that I was particularly interested in, the last few years because I get to meet those ladies at ELFA.
Yeah, no. Don't keep going. I'm sorry to interrupt you. What I forgot to do, I didn't do justice. You actually just made the cover. So my bad. Sorry to interrupt you.
Never thought I would be on a magazine cover, but certainly never thought I would be on an industry publication. So doubly special. I'm really excited about that. But everyone I've met at Monitor is amazing. They do a fantastic job. But like I said, to be able to help with editorials in years past, and then be featured with that honor and be on the same level as people like Marcy Slagle, who I've met years ago, and just a great mentor and just someone I look up to. There are so many women, and then I met other women there that just inspired me in different ways. I love reading their stories. So yeah, I mean, can't say enough about it. Super excited.
Yeah, no, and congratulations again. And I agree. Lisa and her team there at the Monitor, Rita, Susie. Sorry if I'm missing anyone, but those ladies do a great job in regards to getting valuable information out, and the way that they showcase between women in equipment finance, the next gen leaders. I think the next innovation issues coming out next. So those spotlights that they do, I think it's good exposure to our industry.
Absolutely.
So I do want to ask the question though too. So this is our third annual Women in Equipment Finance. What do you think this does, and how do you think women in equipment finance are kind of rising through the ranks in their respective organizations, Katie?
So I think there's a spotlight that's really focusing on women in this industry, because I think what people tend to do is make up their mind about what our industry is all about. And it's just male dominated because it's either heavy equipment or it's finance, and those are traditionally have more of a male to female ratio. I find myself talking to strangers about what I do because I'm excited about it, and I can geek out over some of this stuff. And I think the women in equipment finance, it just opens a lot of doors for what women bring to this industry. And I think everyone in a team, if I were to take my team, male, female, we all bring something very unique to the team. And I think that there is something that women do bring to this industry. You and I were discussing earlier, just the differences between the way not all women and not all men, but a lot of women will approach problem solving or innovative new ideas and how it differs. And I think the collaboration is just what is so amazing about that. So I just really appreciate a platform and to work in an industry where women are very much showcased as, just valuable leaders. And so, just going back to your question, it's really exciting, and it's something I was really honored to do. So, and it's something that I think women who are new in this industry can look at that and say, I want to do that someday. I want to be featured there, and I want to be part of that group. So I'm very honored to be part of that group of women.
And thank you for that. And yeah, I guess there's the diverse nature of thought processes, right? Is just I think you hit it out of the park with that comment, Katie. So thank you for that. I want to shift over to CLFP, if you don't mind.
Sure.
Why did you decide to sit through that course and become a CLFP?
Well, I remember when I interviewed for the first job that I had with equipment finance, that was one thing that I was told, this is a thing with us. CLFP matters. It is important in our industry. If you don't know about it, you're going to know about it. Is it something that you'd be willing to commit to? And, absolutely, not knowing what I was committing to, I was sure, of course, whatever you need. So the story with CLFP, and first I'll just mention, so right now we have, so I mentioned we have 50. 20 of our 50 are CLFP certified, and then we have 13 associates right now who are studying and training to sit for that exam in 2022. So given we're a team of 50, that is significant. So clearly we value this designation. Our management has invested so much into our training and education. My personal story is this was one of my greatest accomplishments professionally, because I don't know about you, Jesse, but I've had a few certifications over the years, but not like this. And I just haven't studied like that since college. And I know that there are people who can come into this without really preparing and they can ace the test. I am not that person. So several months of study went into it. And then, as with most stories the last couple of years, the exam was somewhat canceled because of COVID, because this was 2020. And we were supposed to take it in April. And I got to shout out Reed with CLFP, Reed Rikovich. She just helped our team move heaven and earth to create an environment where we were remotely able to go through the training in a safely distanced hotel in order to prepare for the test. That way we had prior months of study to prepare, and then they canceled it in April, so we were actually able to take it in June. So probably more than you wanted to know, but CLFP is near and dear to my heart because it just was, it was a journey. It was not an easy one. The preparation went there, then the test was moved. And then, like I said, we had to flex and find a remote, safe way to take the test. So we did. We had 8 that took the test. And when they said 8 hours, I was thinking, yeah, 8 hours. No, it was 8 hours. It was 8 hours. And Fort Smith is about an hour and 15 from where I live. And I remember telling my mom, I don't even remember how I got home. Just, I don't know. The brain was a little fried. And I drove home and I didn't know how I was going to do. But of course, Reed and Eric put their heads together and they were able to get our test scores. He called me on a Saturday night to tell me that I passed the test, and it was just surreal. So I feel like I'm still riding the wave a little bit, but I do say if I can do it, anyone can do it.
No, and I know Reed loves the word pivot. So I'm just going to, you did that very well in regards to not being able to be on site. And actually, I think it probably made it a little bit more enjoyable for her, work-life balance from a travel perspective. And now I think they're going to be offering online courses. So
it's like a lot of things, just revolutionize the way that we do something. We just kind of thought this was the only way to do it. And I mean, I will say I'm a big fan of anything we can do in person. I'd love to be doing this in person right now, but you just, like you said, you just pivot and we make it work. So kudos to CLFP for making that happen for us.
Nope, I agree 100%. And then, so I ask everyone who comes on here a little fun about themselves. So if you don't mind sharing something.
Okay, so this should be easy. I don't know. I'm pretty fun. But I was like, fun fact. this is what I came up with. I hope this isn't disappointing. So, as you had mentioned, throughout the pandemic, we were very limited in the way that we did business from a travel perspective, and not just from travel, but from coming into the office. And it is just a known thing on the sales side that that is how we measured success. It was very indicative. The more you could get in front of people, you know, the more productive you were. Well, not being able to do that, I really struggled with how am I going to meet all my professional goals and my personal goals. So this is more of a personal. So my husband was working out from home, and he didn't particularly enjoy it, but he made it part of his day-to-day life. And I thought, you know, I have an hour, 2 hours, most days that I normally would not have. What am I going to do with that time that I want to invest in? So you may or may not know this. Fun fact about where I live. I live in Rogers, Arkansas, but Bensenville, Arkansas is the mountain biking capital of the world.
Oh.
It says that when you get off in the airport, when you get off the plane. I think that's as of 2020. The Walton Foundation, Family Foundation, and other resources they've just built these amazing world-class trails, different trail systems. And some are paved and some are, you know, obviously more in the mountain biking. So anyway, I'll get to my story, I promise. I started running because I had all of these trails at my disposal. And of course I registered for a half marathon, and it was canceled, and I was devastated because, again, months of preparation went into this. And like I said, that hour and a half run every day was just part of my routine. It was something I was able to go do, come back, get on meetings. So I found a race that was a trail race. And just so you know, the trail half marathon is a very different animal from a regular road race. So long story long, I did not have any of the right gear or equipment, but I went by myself and I drove to this location, and I think I was climbing rocks at one point. I ran through a river. I didn't have the right shoes, but
people showed up in hiking boots and you're wearing like flats. Be like,
I have a picture of the shoes. I mean, they were trashed when we were done. And now people are just, no, you know, why would you? I didn't know. You don't know, so you know. So anyway, do your homework if you ever do something like that. But I did do it. 13.1 miles. It was a trail run. And it was more of a lesson in, I don't know if that's a fun fact. I guess I'm kind of lame, but it was more of a, what have you gleaned from the opportunities that the pandemic has afforded us versus, oh my goodness, you know, my job is so much harder and it's harder to do this. And I'm so tired of being disappointed by cancellations. And that was just a little bright spot for me, with a takeaway of just overcoming that. And like I mentioned to you earlier, I'm a big planner. So I get very disappointed if things don't work out according to plan. That definitely did not go according to plan, but it did happen. So very encouraging.
yeah, I can't run a normal one. I'll run a trail. I'll show you.
I can't now. It's been a minute since that happened, but just a fun story for me in the meantime.
And thank you for sharing that. So I guess, Katie, in closing here, of all the different bank equipment finance organizations, why do business with Katie and why do business with Arvest?
I think our people do make a difference. A lot of people say that, but we're an extremely relationship-driven bank and equipment finance company. It's what we were founded on. And, you know, I work more with bankers and lenders as opposed to customers. I do work with customers directly, but I did that job as a commercial lender previous, so where I worked more with customers. But I think equipment finance in particular offers a level of with the just the integrity and the financial history and strength of Arvest Bank. So it's solid. It's a solid win-win. And then last thing is, I mean, I've said it before, we have a culture of caring. We care for our associates and we care for our customers. And we've had customers that say, you know, I come back here because of the relationships that I have, and I feel like people care about me, and I do business with people who make me feel valued. So I hope that people can experience that firsthand, and we can solidify that. So thanks for asking that.
Oh, and I want to say that I was at your old office probably in 2012, and you know, so I'm excited to see the new one the next time I'm in the area. But going from 14 people to 50 people in the last 3 years with that growth, I'm excited to see what's going to happen over the next 3 to 5 years, Katie.
It's an exciting time, and I'm with you. Who knows where we're going to be in the next 5 years, but I know that office is big enough to hold a few more people, and we did that by design. So I hope we can fill those spaces, and it's an exciting thing.
Well, excellent. Well, I really appreciate your time this morning. And what do we got? Another 6 weeks till
6 weeks. We are looking forward to it, and I've actually reached out to some of our partners that we work with, and just acquaintances and people I've met. Hey, are you going to be there? I've had people reach out to me. So I'm really excited. I think everyone's going to be primed and ready to get back in person again.
I agree. And thank you again for your time today, Katie.
Thank you so much for having me, Jesse. It was an honor. I really appreciate it.
All right, we'll talk soon. Take care.
Okay. Thank you. Take care.